Welcome to another episode of the Garage Life. Today you join me on our jet ski at our new garage. Since it's been like a year since we last did our video, so you would have seen us in the old shed. We've now moved into our new shed, and I suppose today we want to show you what we have in the shed. So yeah, let's jump in and see what's there. So this is the new shed, and everything's similar in terms of what's in there. But yeah, we have obviously different toys and stuff. So in this so-called series, we want to call it Undercover, which is basically kind of show you guys what's in garages around Ireland, UK, wherever we find it, because we do have a few contacts, very cool machines around, and I think it'd be something to enjoy if you guys are up for it. So today's like our first kind of video of, we're going to say, Undercover. So let's start off. I suppose I don't know anything about these cars because I don't own any of them, so we'll take Barry in to kind of showcase his new cars. I suppose start off with the minibar.
Hey guys, yeah, so first in, well, probably is the smallest, that's the smallest, and it's also broken, and it's even a lawnmower. We break everything around here. So Mary, you want to give us a hand here with this? This is actually my wife's car, and I'll go for the back. It's a Mini 1275 GT. This is belonging to Andrea, my wife, and it's her 1978 Mini 1275 GT.
78?
1978, yeah. So
it's nearly as old as you, Barry.
It's older.
Oh, that's the first time we've heard that now.
So it's yeah, it's a cool car. It's, I actually got this for Andrea for her 30th birthday a few years back. It's the Club Sport front end on it. Say 1275, limpy little thing, great fun. She's got all the bits and bobs on it. Bonnet's up at the moment because we're in the middle of just a little bit of a winter. It's the winter time, obviously, so the starter motor is out of her. That needs to be repaired and put back in. Otherwise, she's on the button. A bit dusty.
Where'd you get it from?
I got it from a guy down in Mayo. Who
did you drive back from Mayo?
What?
Did you drive that back from Mayo?
No, I didn't.
I was
put it on a trailer.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Put it on a trailer. Couldn't put another 2 or 3 of them on the trailer. That's small. Brought it home and say it was her. It was Andrea's 30th birthday, and we wheeled it in. We had the party. Back garden kind
through
of
the front door of the house.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So
it's cool.
Yeah,
right?
it's cool. It's great fun. You know, it's just I didn't use it that much. More use it out in the summertime. It's actually it's pretty cool. It's got all the proper little bits and pieces. So
I'm assuming you bought it as is.
yeah, we haven't done a whole pile to it at all. Anything really. It was very well put together. It needs a few little bits and bobs, but between everything happening the last while, it's only now that we have the garage you could probably get stuck into it. So
cool.
Just needs the starter motor for to be running. That's it. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
It's great to open that.
No, you're alright.
And why did you call it the Jazz? Any ideas? No?
Jazz.
That's called the Jazz.
Jazz. So there you go. Mini Essentials, tow rope. Well, that's the fuel tank, and that's the other fuel tank.
Right.
And the battery's out of her, and the cover there and stuff for her. But yeah, that's where you won't be going on too much of a holiday with the boot space. But
Oh, cool.
it's yeah.
Model.
That is the little minis.
Sweet. Let's push it back.
Put it back.
So car number 2 on our Undercover is Barrys Crx. I suppose I've always had a little soft spot for these things, even though I'm ridiculously tall, I can't really fit in them.
Can you show us how you don't fit in them, Marty? Because the arse tiny.
We'll leave it in my short ass seating position.
I've got a chance to get into that mini.
Hold yourself, Marty. Hold yourself.
Looks comfy.
Yeah, it worked.
Open the sunroof.
The sunroof, yeah.
Oh, I'm not getting out of this. Bit easier. But yeah, I remember we actually had one. Well, my cousin had one, and we sold it to you guys.
Did you?
Remember the teal green one?
Oh yeah, that was
You
a
bought
while ago.
it out of a shed. You bought it out of a shed.
Yeah,
Okay,
shed, not me.
shed.
Ozzy bought it. Yeah, Ozzy bought it. It's right.
He
Yeah,
actually bought it off Squire originally.
Right, okay.
So it was a teal green one. He bought for like 800 quid and like wanted to turn to a track car. But it was a UK one, so it couldn't be too much. But anyway, that's my only experience with CRX.
Yeah.
So what's the story of this one? What's the history?
I got this 2 years ago. Dave, wasn't Dave on camera? 5 years ago. Yeah, it's 5 years ago. Did I?
And that's why I did Dublin.
Okay, I got this 5 years ago. We went and got it out of the UK. So what is it? It's an original UK EE8 chassis CRX. It now has a B20 in it, so that's a 2-litre bottom end with the VTEC head, so she's about 190 brake horsepower or so, a bit more torquey than a normal 1800s or 1600s, I suppose. It's had a full rebuild. It was owned by a Honda mechanic and technician and his son, and they did all the work on it, and then they actually sold it to a doctor who I bought it off. Doctor.
VTEC translation work.
So yeah.
Must have been a very small doctor.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it. So a few nuts and bolts give away on the floor. It's alternator out on this one at the moment. Another little winter job to be done.
Their standard CRX seats are covered?
Yeah, I think they're standard seats with the leather trim, and it's done on the dash and stuff as well.
Nice.
So yeah, it's cool. It's a cool car. Like so she has.
Show us under the bonnet there when you're at it. When it's open.
Awkward. Yeah, it should be there on the right of the Honda sign somewhere.
Come on, Marty, you own enough Hondas. There you go.
There we go. There she
You don't
is.
open the bonnet much when you're on
So, spec by site, she's the 2-litre bottom end with the VTEC head. Different intake, but looks well. I didn't do any of the work on this myself, obviously I just bought it as is. So I've a book of receipts, literally that side, a full what would you call it, folder, massive big folder. It's got full Honda service history since new.
Really,
It's
yeah.
got I think it's got 160,000 kilometers on it. Every 3,000 or 4,000 miles it's stamped. So yeah, it's been properly looked after along its life, and it shows when you drive it.
It's funny how cramped these are compared to, like, I was gonna say a modern Honda now, EKs and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can fit your hand in between the radiator and the manifold and normal Hondas, and then that's like wedged.
Well, I mean, it's a very small car, as you see, trying to get into it. I think they weigh, I don't know, like maybe 900 kilos, something like that. But it's especially small. I mean, we're standing beside it, and even like the bumper is below my knee.
You wouldn't really want to get knocked down with it.
No.
So.
Obviously then it's like a 2-litre is a big engine by today's standards, never mind anything else, to get into a small little bay, but it's not too bad. Having said that, the alternator, which is down in there somewhere, is out of it at the moment, and that was absolutely no fun, I can tell you.
You can't even see down there.
Yeah, it's a nightmare to go in from underneath, but it's out. It's on the bench over there to get sent off and get done.
An interesting fact is this is one of 2 CRXs, but we won't mention the other one yet.
Yeah, I have another one a little bit more modified. We'll talk about that again.
Well, I think that'll be a nice little clickbait title on that one.
Yeah,
That's where the revenue will start rolling.
Yeah, that's when we make the big dollars, Marty.
So, and what's the sort of the wheels on?
Kind of see, top of that, I always kind of wanted to have certain 2 types of a road-going CRX and a not road-going CRX.
Yeah.
So
Now you have 2, none.
now I have 2
No,
road
CRX.
CRXs.
You know, are they genuine wheels or are they rotors or
They're a
what?
spare set of wheels I had from the other car. So they're Rays.
Oh, that's a J's.
TE. Come on, Marty. Come on.
TE37.
TE37,
There you
that's
go.
what they are. Yes,
Clearly
right.
not a real hat.
No, it's too many.
He's not a wheel whore.
Yeah, too many numbers and names and all that. So yeah, actually interesting with that, there's a set of Honda like conventional alloy wheels that came with it, and I had these kind of just painted them myself black and threw them onto it to try it, and you can genuinely, and I wouldn't believe this when you felt it myself, with those light wheels on it, you can feel it in the car.
Really,
You can feel. It's just happier. The steering's, I won't say lighter. It's just you can definitely feel the loss of the weight in the wheels.
How much lighter are them wheels?
Oh, they're probably
6-7 kilos a wheel lighter than
yeah, I think they're about 5 kilos each, something like that, without a tire. And probably the other ones are probably 10 more than that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's future plans? It's just a keeper, as in just maintain it.
I don't use it a whole pile, and then sometimes when I'm not using it, I go, oh, what's the point in having it? But then it is a
One of
cool
us
thing to
swoop
have.
in with a nice low balling deal and hopefully
Yeah.
get it.
Get him when he's down, yeah.
So,
$3 grand.
There's no real future plans. I'll probably put a set of bronze original type wheels on it. I think they look better on it. Yeah.
Is that the original factory colour?
I believe so, yeah. So I'll put a set of the bronze wheels on it. I'm always kind of looking out, but obviously they're expensive wheels. And I have a pretty special D18 lying around the place somewhere, with a lot of Toyota gear on it. So that could go into it at some stage. Maybe it should be about 220, 230 brake. So bring it back to the high revving kind of 9,500 RPM sort of thing. That might happen down the road when I've nothing else to do.
Yeah,
Isn't today or
I think
tomorrow.
that'd be safe.
Yeah.
Show you the Castle car now. Got a lot of work done since what, 2 years ago? No, it hasn't been touched. Right, on to the next one. It has been a while.
This is what started all this shit.
Been exactly.
It actually looks way better on camera than it does in person, to be honest.
Let me see. One second.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah. Do I look better on camera now?
No.
Right, so what do you want to know, Ray?
I suppose the last episode we did of this, was that when we actually removed the engine out of it? No.
Yeah,
when we sent it off.
Yeah, pull the engine out of it, pull the gearbox out of it, the diff out of it. Well, you did the diff, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Told you, exaggerating.
So,
and we then I bought a house, you built a house, you broke a car, you didn't fix a car.
No, it's a part of the car, didn't break it.
Didn't break.
No.
So what's going on with it since? What's been changing? We'll start the front and work our way back.
So the engine has been rebuilt by Triple B Engineering in the UK. A guy named Brad did that, so it's got a lot of work done to inside now. It's got the rotors lightened, balanced, and the whole rotating assembly has been balanced. It's got new, your favourite word, Marty, Apex seals.
Apex seals,
Yeah.
C-line seals.
We've got a lot of new seals, all the bearings and all replaced on it. Got new rotors. We found out the original rotors that were in the car were turbo rotors. Obviously being an NA engine that's not used, so we got high compression NA rotors into it as well. Then we got clutch and flywheel. We changed the flywheel to a 1.5 kilo unit with it used to have a 7.5 inch clutch. Now it's got a 5 inch twin pack clutch that Barry donated to me, which is actually at the Formula Renault.
He took it.
Took it. Donated.
Does this fit? Yes, okay, I'm taking it.
Yeah, it fitted, so it's gone straight into it. Like, so new clutch, way lighter. New flywheel, way lighter. And then we also upgraded a lot of the electronics because it was all quite old. So we've gone with 4 of the AEM smart coils, which put out massive voltage.
So you don't really want to get a bang off them?
No, you don't get a bang off them, no.
No, you don't. I actually
You
I
did.
took a bang off them.
Yeah. We still hear that, so
So you
Not
can't,
that good.
you're living proof that you can take a bang off.
Barely, yeah.
Cool.
So otherwise, engine bay wise, that's really all we've changed.
Just tidied up a lot.
Yeah, tidied up a bit. The new air filter system, I'm not sure yet. We'll either have a new air box or we're gonna stick the filters out to the bottom, Mad Max style. Not Mad Max style, Mad Mike style.
Mad Mike.
Yeah,
okay.
although Mad Mike's probably had
Mad.
filters out the bonnet as well.
No, I doubt it.
Probably, yeah. So that's the engine bay, really. That's all we're changing that. Interior wise, it's all the same.
Well, except for the new gearbox hanging out of it.
Yeah.
Nah, technically not interior. I suppose you could call it interior, yeah. So it now has, excuse the wiring, we haven't finished wiring yet. So 2 things on the inside it's now got. It's got a Link Monsoon ECU, which will massively help how we're going to set and run this car. Because the old ECU was very, very basic. I think it was designed in the late 80s. So that'll help, hopefully, along with the new coils and bits and pieces. Also got new injectors, forgot to say that. Oh. But the main piece, this fella here is an Elite 6-speed sequential. That I think is going to be the biggest difference in the car when we get it running right, because the gearing originally was very, very long. It was about 2.5, 3,000 RPM rev between each gear, which meant it was falling way out of the power band. So that one there, I think, is a maximum rev drop of 1,200 between first and second, then it drops down to 300 from 5 to 6. So that should really keep it going the right direction.
And did you change the prop and everything with that, or what happened there?
New prop.
Because you're originally only using RX8 prop.
Yeah, I wanted to use the RX8 prop, but because it's carbon fibre, it's nice and light. Just couldn't get it to work with the new gearbox, so we ended up having to get a custom made prop made up for it. We also changed the diff ratio. It used to be a 5.8 final drive to work with the RX8 box. Now we just went back to a standard, well, not standard, but a 4.4 final drive, because we could get custom ratios in the gearbox itself.
And when we got all that back together and didn't record any bit, obviously you went to go mapping.
Yes. Well, this was see, we have 2 things here. We went to go mapping, didn't have the new ECU.
Oh yeah, that's when you found out it was shit.
This is when we found out the ECU was absolutely shit. It only let us map it up to 9 and really bad splits. You think you could put a map on it every 5.
Do you use that picture still of the manifold?
I do.
Okay, we'll insert that.
Now.
We're somewhere now, yeah.
There now. But yeah, we had a disaster on the wrong road. Basic ECU was a big problem. Then also, prop got loose, shook the whole thing to shit. Can we say shit on the radio, Marty? Yeah.
Well, we're not on the radio, so yeah.
So yeah, the prop got loose, shook like
everything a bit.
Like everything, and took the gearbox. Took 2 bearings out of the gearbox. It bent the prop shaft, and it made a mess of everything. At that stage, kind of got pissed off with it.
And that's kind of where it ended.
Put it to the side, like yeah.
Well, it didn't end.
Well, no. Then I
money and houses and shit.
Adult things, so.
So now we're kind of coming back around to reborn again.
Yes. Yes.
Not Christians, Jesus, whatever you want to call it. Reborn again racers.
Born again racers, yeah. Took a year off.
So
other bits still changed, small bits. I've not done yet, but new bonnet for 2 reasons. Previous year, it was starting to get not hot, but it was always on the top end of water temperatures I'd like it. So we're going to try some extra cooling out through the bonnet. We also have an intake up through here that we can either run through the oil cooler or directly to the filters, depending on what we do.
Yeah.
Then wheel-wise, we changed the wheels. These are the original wet rims, which I still will be using.
Oh, yeah, you literally glued back your other wheels together.
Yeah, I had a set of TE
37.
I keep getting that
The
wrong.
same.
T37? Same as Barry's ones. T37s? I think so. T37, T3. T37. Guarantee it's not T37. Anyway, them ones. But we changed them to these rims, which are an 18" by 10, and they're a company called 200sx Racing. They're pretty much the lightest rim I could find in this size. They weigh, I think, only 7.5 kilos for an 18 by 10" rim with a plus 22 offset. Perfect offset for it.
You were running spacers last time?
I was running small spacers, but I wanted to run more, but of course
yeah,
I don't really like running big spacers on them. So these are pretty much perfect for the car.
So wider track.
Wider track. These rims don't leak air like they always do. They're actually lighter than the Ray's engineering rims, which is a bit weird. People wouldn't think so. Being Ray's are the only rims to buy in the world. Like, but yeah, no, they're
what was that? Do that again? Yeah.
So they're lighter, cheaper, and new.
So
yeah.
hopefully.
Hopefully.
And then last thing on the back is your big gay wing that you're kind of.
Yeah, what is it? BGW? Yeah, the BGW. That took me like a year to figure out that was. I was like, oh, what brand is a BGW in? It's a big gay wing. So that's on roughly. That hasn't been finished yet. But yeah, loads of downforce. Push back, prints around. Like.
So next plan, I suppose, is get back to mapping and then actually drive. You haven't driven this since you've done all the work.
No, I haven't driven it in over a year now. So we're gonna get it ready for mapping in the next kind of 2 or 3 weeks. Then it's gone back to Stiv in MDT tuning, and hopefully this time is a bit more luck with the new ECU, new coils. Everything's nice and tight, and yeah, that's the plan for this year.
It's gonna be emotional.
Hopefully not. No, hopefully it just works.
So we're back here at Barry's Buggy, the double B. Dave was just actually here doing a little bit of work on it, and then he's after shooting off. So I don't know the story behind this. This is a you and Dave car.
Yeah, this is typical man maths. Makes sense, makes no sense. What happened was Dave, good buddy of mine, had. How did this happen exactly? He inherited a go-kart chassis, like an old racing car chassis, probably worth 40 euros. And then he decided, and he found an engine off a motorbike, and then he says, you know, it'd be cool if I put an engine off the motorbike onto the go-kart chassis, because why wouldn't you? And then he started needing to extend the chassis, and then I said, well, we have race carts, so why are we building this other thing that's going to be no use? So I said, we have a bit of a field at our disposal, we should make a buggy cart. So we start looking at that idea, and then start realising it was a lot of work. So went on to Dundee and found this.
Shit. Well, it was when you got this.
Oh man, I'll give you a photo you can superimpose into the shot now. Yeah. But yeah, so we bought this from a couple of guys. I can't even remember where they were, down somewhere down the Midlands. And man, it was rough. It was really. I mean, it's not exactly a picture of beauty at the moment, but before that, it was just so bad. Yeah. So we stripped it down to its bare chassis. Fixed a few little bits and bobs on it.
Did you drive this before?
Yeah, I drove it, yeah. There's no brakes. The boss, here, check this out, right? This is the level of building the car, or buggy. That's was a steering wheel at one stage. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a boss kit made of plywood. Nice. For a buggy, used outdoors.
Look at that, you can see the grain in it.
It was
dodgy.
So, I think you've been doing it wrong this whole time. You don't need carbon fiber.
Yeah, so that was the kind of the level of quality and the whole thing. So we took back to the shell or chassis, got it sandblasted, powder coated, and they were building it back up, adding a few bits as we go and just making it fundamentally safer, I suppose. So we drove it beforehand, but it had no brakes and wooden steering wheel and everything else. So it's got a Honda. Oh man, I'm gonna get this wrong. I think it's a Blackbird engine, 1200cc, and somewhere around about 140, 150 brake horsepower, I believe.
Right.
And sure, what's it weigh? I don't know, a couple hundred kilos probably. Well, maybe 400 kilos. So it should be good fun. Off-road, wheels and suspension and all the rest of it. So yeah,
it's not your standard.
it's just a thing. It's just a thing that we
Twin exhaust.
yeah, it's kind of got 2 banks exhaust. We probably have to put a little bit more silencers on it to keep the neighbours less than pissed off. What else have we done? We put a new sequential gear shifter system into it. So this is all kind of fresh. You can see new bushings and new brackets down here because that was a bit sloppy to say the least beforehand. Engine's fine.
Piece of string.
Yeah, probably wasn't a whole lot better. New sprocket on the back. That's we have to wait and see. These are made as a
homemade
kit.
jobby?
No, they're made as a kit at a company called Edge. They're Australian. So what they do is they sell you the plans, and then you build it yourself off the plans.
Okay.
So they're not a kit insofar they kind of tell you what to do and how to do it, but so every build quality is obviously different. The parts aren't actually that, like bits like this sprocket assembly and stuff like that aren't actually that dear. The problem is the shipping from Australia just wipes it out. So that's a kind of, we've got that engineered ourselves to see if it'll work. We won't know until we actually fire it up, I suppose. But it's actually not far off going. It's a bit messy. This was kind of sitting on top.
It's been ignored again for the last.
It's been pushed into a corner for a while. It's only the last couple of weeks we've kind of got back into it. But yeah, it should be a bit of crack.
Oop, there goes the
Yeah, you
camera.
broke that. Broke your camera.
Use some.
Tighten the yoke on the side.
I'll just hold the side of it.
Just tighten the thing on the side.
Don't want to break the camera
I
ready.
think we can do track days in there.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
I think.
Can you track days in that?
Yeah, it's the same as those rallycross ones.
Yeah, true, yeah.
I think so. I mean, obviously you put different wheels and tires and stuff on it.
What's that, 6?
Attach the seat.
Yeah, bolt the seat in. You know,
Maybe
other
a
things.
real steering wheel, not a wooden steering wheel.
Yeah. So the steering wheel, where's the steering wheel? The new one. Here we go. So here's the new steering wheel. So you like this? This is an OMP proper like racing steering wheel that I had used on my Formula Renault, which we'll talk about shortly. And in the last race, in the middle of it, I was running third, and it broke in the middle of the race, which was interesting.
That's been fixed now since
It's
then.
since been fixed. Not a bad job, all things considered. Managed not to damage any of the suede material. So rather than throw it out, good steering wheel. I don't know, it's probably 300 quid worth, or 200 anyway.
It's better than wood.
It's definitely better than wood. So yeah, that's our new steering wheel. So, you know, budget first. So,
It makes it look far more racier, like compared
buy
to that
this.
thing.
Hello, this.
Which was lighter?
Well,
the
there's a
important
fair
question.
bit of rot in this, you
So
know.
what you're saying is that one's better.
Yeah,
That one's a bit stronger.
Well, I know what they say, rust weighs less than carbon fibre, so that's, I think we'll have to mount that somewhere just for like
Make a
sheer-
clock out of it or something. Yeah, yeah.
Well, no, I think it needs to be, something that bad needs to be put on a plinth with a little...
Yeah, really high up
something-
so it can never be used
yeah,
again.
and out of the weather. Yeah, because I mean, it's a real feat of engineering between the wood and the insulating tape.
Last one.
So Barry, explain. Formula Renault that wishes it was a Jordan 191. And I wish it was a Jordan 191, but I live with it being a Formula Renault. Yeah, so this is kind of my baby. Tadis Formula Renault 2 litre from the kind of mid 2000s. You would have seen Lewis Hamilton raced these cars. Kimi Räikkönen went straight from a Formula Renault to Formula 1, which is crazy when you think about it back in the day.
Button did that as well?
Button went F3.
F3.
Yeah.
He did race these though, didn't he?
I think he went forwards then. Button being a bit older, went forwards and then F3 and then stuff. But yeah, so Hamilton, I know for sure, definitely raced these, and Kimi Räikkönen, I'd say, went straight into them, which is really a bit nuts when you think about it. 2 litre Clio engine into a V, whatever it was, 10 probably then, F1 car. But obviously didn't do many harm, it's still there. So yeah, it's a Tata shell, or Tata tub, Renault running gear, Salad, 6-speed sequential gearbox hanging out the back of it. So it's just after undergoing a pretty intensive and major rebuild. We had a real freak accident with it about, it's two, I'm not great, it's two, yeah, I think it was October 2 years ago. We were actually bringing it up to Kyrgyzstan for a test, and we got about 10 minutes from the circuit, and it got off the trailer ultimately on the road, and hit an oncoming van and basically disintegrated itself on the side of the road.
Parted ways, literally.
Yeah, so a lot of people flashed me to slow down and like turn around, and I normally use an enclosed trailer, but that particular day I used a flat trailer because the enclosed trailer had a little bit of a dodgy wheel bearing, so I said, we'll just play it safe. That's where that got me. So still don't know how it got off.
It's expensive wheel bearing.
Yeah. The straps were still in place and everything. Don't know, something weird happened. But anyway, I came running back down the road and I seen the front end of it sticking out past the nose of the van. It's like, oh, it doesn't look too bad because the wing and all was still on it.
And where was the back of it?
Well, that's the problem. I was still 30 meters away from the front of it when I noticed the back of it in the ditch to my left. So it split down here. So everything this side of where my hand is.
And where is it? It broke pretty much across here, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so it's designed to break.
It's designed to break.
do that,
so
isn't it? Yeah.
you've got these are the you've got one here. You've one down in there. I can't really see it from where I'm standing. And the same on the, and there's actually 3 across the bottom. So it's located at 5 points, 2 at the top and 3 at the bottom. And if you come around this side, Marty, I'll show you what they're designed to do. In a big impact. And there's actually a video of a chap called Danny Watts in Alton having a massive shunt in one of these cars.
Ooh,
and
for that.
yeah, with an F1 driver, was it Kovalainen, or I think it might be Henry, what's his name, Kovalainen? Yeah, Druids in Alton, and in a monster shunt. You can find it somewhere on YouTube, and it splits. So what happens is, in a big impact, all of this end of it here is supposed to separate away from the survival tub, just like F1 spec stuff.
The tubs, most people think the tub is tubular, but it's carbon fibre, full carbon fibre.
Solid. That's why you'll see the guys getting out of them. As I say, this is, you know, it's F1 technology coming down into lower classes. So you'll see, like, you'll often wonder, you see, like, you know, the F1 guys, they win a race and they jump out and they stand on it and think, man, how's that body works? But it's just solid, it's just rock solid stuff. So anyway, the engine split away, and this stuff here is actually like a dry brake system. So when the engine departs, it brakes here, so your fuel in and your fuel back, your tank, which is in here, cuts off, so it's a dry brake, so there's no risk of fire, or reduced risk of fire at least. So yeah, that's the way I found the car, on the side, that end of it there, pointing out the back of the ditch, this end of it here, buried into the front of an old Ford or Renault Master van. Would be a Renault, wouldn't it? It'd have to be. So yeah, so that's where we got it, but it was a pretty much a complete write-off. And we've spent the last 2 years rebuilding it, brought it right back down to its core essentials, and started building it back up. But
and that's the same engine that was in the ditch.
Yeah, it's the same car ultimately. With like, I mean, it's Trigger's broom sort of thing, you know. It's the same car with.
Gonna have to Google what that means.
Only fools and horses, man. Come on, Trigger's broom. The same brush, 10 handles, 20 heads.
It's like the Unbelievers, lad. I didn't watch it.
Anyway.
So all of these were pretty much, as you said, a lot of the externals were replaced then.
Yeah, so I think it was the side you're on there took the brunt of the impact. So all these wishbones, they were all bent and broken, and all your clevises and stuff here that it all bolts onto, was all busted up. So
these are all new.
They're all new and and anything else has been freshly repowder coated. New bearings, there's big wheel bearings in there in your hubs. These are magnesium hubs. Had to get new ones of these. Then new discs, and this side, basically the whole corner was replaced. New dry shaft.
New rim as well, isn't it?
New rim. That was damaged there. The exhaust was okay. Under tray, all the bodywork was just destroyed. Carbon fibre bodywork. It's like there's some of it there. It's really light. That piece there is probably 5 kilos. So yeah, so it was a case of putting it all back together, and then the car was mechanically good beforehand, but tatty, and I like my stuff to be clean, so I took that as an opportunity to just really freshen everything as I went. So the good news out the other side of a pretty crap situation was that the car is now as good as I can make it, at least anyway. So we got a lot of stuff like this intake plenum that was all like powder coated, or not powder coated, but sandblasted back to original, nice fresh carbon fibre air box. Yeah, so we just cleaned and replaced as we went, and the net result is the first time we took the car back out a few weeks back, back in, when would it be? August, I think. August, yes.
Yeah, the Leicester Trophy.
No, Kyrgyzstan before that. So we brought it out and we won on its debut, which was pretty cool. We out-qualified and out-raced a few F3s and radical SR8s and stuff. So that was especially rewarding win, you know, after all the work that went into it.
Definitely.
But, yeah, it's a cool car. So for anyone that's not too sure on single-seaters, just to give you they're actually, people are afraid of them because they think they're complicated and they're hard to work on. They're the simplest thing in the world. Your engine, which is literally to there. This here is just an oil tank that just carries the oil for the engine. It's dry sumped, so your pump is here, sucks it in through here. It's driven off here, sucked in through here, sent into the engine. Diff in here, and then your gearbox is just the last little section here, and it's access from behind, so you can take this back plate off and pull the whole gear set out and change your ratios in a matter of minutes, really.
Yeah.
And then obviously all the suspension locates onto the whole gearbox housing on the back of it. So it's yeah.
Is the engine built or what?
No, it's a Renault Clio sport engine. So it's the one, I think it's the 182 division. It's called an F4R engine. So it's basically a standard block and head with just different intakes, and then it runs a Marelli spec ECU. That's in the time would have been sealed, so you can see it's got the F4 and the logos and all the homologation on it. So it's yeah, the engine is about
Basically
200 brake horsepower. It's
what does the car weigh?
Car without driver is about 500 kilos, so it's about 400 brake per ton, or maybe a little bit less with the driver, 380, something like that.
A lot of people don't think they're that fast.
They're incredibly fast.
That's only a 2-litre engine.
Well, I'll put it in perspective.
Engine with 400 kilos.
This car around Mondello is about, on a 2-minute lap, it's about 15 seconds a lap quicker than like a GT3 Porsche.
It's impressive enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the it's 0 to 60 is about 3 seconds. 0 to 100 mile an hour is about 8 seconds. I actually took a drag racing one day. Before the accident, we had we'd put a new gearbox pits into it. What was it we went into, Shane? It was the pinion. No, racking the final drive.
No, that was before. It was the first run you had after
Is your first actual run?
Before that even, I brought a drag racing. I've had a drag racing twice.
Oh, have it?
Yeah. It's good, just handy way of going testing. There's not too many testing opportunities in Ireland, so we had a drag racing up in 2 places. You're right, when it was rebuilt, the first place we took it was drag racing. But previous to that, we did it, and yeah, I was doing like an 1/8 of a mile in, I don't know, was it like 9 seconds or something like that? I can't remember. It was quick anyway. It was one of the quickest things there, which it shouldn't really be because it's just not a drag car, obviously. But yeah, that's the Formula Renault. So looking forward to getting back out in it for a full season now. And
yeah, so next year is kind of the full hog.
Yeah, get back into the Boss Ireland Championship, which is it's championship just for single seaters. So
big open single seaters.
Big open single seaters.
I learned that last year.
Yeah. So yeah, that we'll be out with that. This is pretty cool and all, and fast as it is, it's totally like bringing a knife to a gunfight though with the boss class, because there's actually a World Series by Nissan car. The 2018 champion Paul O'Connell has just gone and bought a full-on like monster spec car. I think it's a 3.5 litre V6, about 450 horsepower, and not much heavier than this.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll be looking at the back of him if we're looking.
At least you get to hear it.
Yeah,
you won't mind because you're going to hear the most awesome sound you want to hear.
Yeah.
And then obviously, just we'll finish off on the front end of it.
Yeah, so up front then, the shocks are out of it at the moment.
Sorry, squeeze in the old
pedals down. Well, just give me the shock's not going to work.
Yeah, but you'll see how
it's there. Yeah. So this is called a monoshock, which you can see. So the shock normally locates from here to here. It's away at the moment, so it'll be picked. So the shock locates from here to here. So it's really cool on it. It separates pitch from roll, so you don't have for a car with aerodynamic downforce. Sometimes the downforce compresses the shock, and then when you get to a corner, you've got no travel left because the downforce
after compressing so much.
Yeah, so this has got a monoshock there, a bit tricky to set up as a result. So when you get it straight down motion like we just replicated there, which is lifting the two sides together, it just the force goes through this and sends the shock back and compresses the shock. If you get a pitch moment, which we won't be able to replicate because it won't be strong enough. Yes, there's springs in here called bevel washers, and they basically are formed like this and like this, or together. And if that wheel comes up, it pushes this push rod up, which slides this assembly over within that space. So, and your spring is housed in here. So when it's not a spring, it's bevel washers, I say, that kind of go flat and open out like that, and you can arrange them in any amount of different ways. So you can have them this way, you can have them that way, and it's
for different results. Yeah, it's complicated stuff.
And then you have preload built into them here with this sort of thing here. So yeah,
that's the higher end of
tricky.
it.
We tend not to play it. We kind of have it right, and we can leave that a bit alone. Steering rack. I mean, again, the beauty of a single seater, it's so straightforward. Literally just comes down, turns through 90 degrees. Steering rack, that's just been freshly rebuilt and all, perfect. Clutch, brake front, brake rear cylinders. Don't use the clutch at all once you're going. It's full sequential flat shift, full throttle down. Once you pull back on the lever, there's a little switch in the mechanism that kills the spark, so you just flat shift, left foot brake, and then down to the gears on the sequential.
Cool.
They're cool. Shane had a spin in one recently. So
Literally.
Yeah.
Good
fun.
Literally.
Yeah.
Hard
roads to drive, but they're great fun.
Cool.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the Formula Renault.
So that's Formula Renault.
Right, so if you enjoyed our first episode of Undercovered, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks again very much for watching. I suppose it's something that we're trying new, something different, and no one else is doing it, so why not try it?
Like, the nice thing is there's garages like this and better and worse and whatever all around the country.
Exactly,
with
yeah.
all sorts of stuff in it.
So if you've got a nice, cool, different car, let us know.
Exactly, yeah, because we'll come visit you, have a chat and see what's there. And in the meantime, stay tuned, follow us on Facebook, we're on Instagram. We're a lot more active now than we were before, and we'll see you at the next video. Peace!